So we need a free legal counseling ministry program. I've been unemployed for 2 months, have no food, need food, feeding program, clothing program. So just about every aspect of need is brought to to the church, black church. And the black church has to find a way to help meet that needs. Our present need, I call them the system of poverty. One is poverty of family. Only 40% of black children have a mother and a father in the home, 40%, as compared to 66% of whites and Latinos and 77% of Asians, who have the strongest family structure. The nuclear black family is devastated by so much negativism and adversity that they face in the workplace, in the political arena, in the religious arena, with the police powers, and so forth and so on. At this moment, 50% of the prison population is black males. 1 million black men are in prison at this moment. 80% of them are there because of substance abuse crimes. Now here's the contrast. The Sentencing Project out of Washington, D.C., which is not a black project, it's a governmental project. The Sentencing Project says that for a white man to get the same sentence for a drug abuse crime as a black man, the white man has to use 100 times as much powder cocaine as the black man uses crack cocaine. And the two of them are just about the same product. If anyone is weaker, it's the crack cocaine, the black drug of choice, because it's watered down with hot water, baking soda, and sold on the street for a cheap price. Powder cocaine is the white drug of choice, and crack cocaine is the black drug of choice. But whites have to use 100 times as much as blacks use to get the same sentence. So at this point, the prison system in America is the largest prison system in the industrialized world. America leads the world, and California leads America, because in prison construction and prison confinement, California has built 22 new prisons in the last 40-some years. But the nation and California are seeing the error of their ways, because to keep a person in prison for 1 year costs from $25,000 to $40,000 a year to keep a person in jail, in prison. Whereas for $15,000 a year, the average price in America, you can keep a person a year in college. What we clearly need is treatment program rather than confinement, because confinement is so costly that in this recession, as you've seen, California, going broke and being broke, has to release 40,000 prisoners this year, has to let them out if they have nonviolent crimes, which the vast majority are nonviolent crimes. They bring them back into the economy. Except that aggravates the problem again, because they can't find employment, not only because you find 80% of prisoners have not completed high school, but you find 40% or so who are addicted to drugs, or 30% who have mental problems, and you need a whole gestalt of approaches to help them before you send them back to a society. Therefore, within 3 years of being released, 1 out of 3 prisoners is back in prison. And Bill Clinton, former president, whose book there states that 60 to 70% of the children of prisoners become prisoners themselves. So there you have poverty of family without that father there, and with that overworked mother, the burden gets so heavy that the youth is sometimes pulled out into the street there to get involved in selling drugs and so forth. And that leads us to our second poverty, which is poverty of education. The figures show that 50% of Black American kids do not finish high school. Now that's almost suicide going into the 21st century without a high school education. It's not even enough to have the high school education. You need the college 4 years, then you need grad and maybe post-grad. So there is a great crippling, and it's not that the children are not able to learn, but the schools are under-budgeted, the schools are underserved, the administration doesn't have strict enough requirements for its teachers. There is not enough correlation with the family, because the family is in disarray, therefore the children can be in disarray. So the poverty of education is costing greatly, particularly among the males. As you look on the campus here at blacks who are here, 75% are females. And just about any campus you go on to, in the last 20 years or so, the black males have dwindled down greatly, and the females are somewhat holding on. Thirdly, after poverty of family, poverty of education, the poverty of pocket. Black unemployment rate, the black poverty rate is twice as great as the American poverty rate generally. The rate of poverty in America is $22,000 a year for a family of 4. If you are there or below, then you're listed in poverty. Among African Americans, the rate is twice as high as it is for white Americans. The dollar turns over 1 time in the black community, is spent and it's gone, as compared to 5 times in the white community and the Hispanic community, 7 times in the Korean community, 12 to 18 times in the Jewish community. Up until the mid-60s, the middle of the 20th century, the dollar turned over in the black 9 times it was spent with the black grocer who disappeared when white businesses swallowed it up. Dry cleaning, car repairmen, gas stations, dry goods stores. There was the small business, which is the heart of America. The megalopolis is not really the center of the nation, but the small businesses. And our small businesses were swallowed up when what we call integration, which is what whites used when blacks were asking for desegregation. Whites were talking of integration, and the integration swallowed it up, so that the dollar does not turn over in the black community. It's spent and it's gone. It's spent and it's gone, because once it gets to those who you're spending it with, they take it in their own community. They don't return anything to the black community. So that's poverty of pocket, poverty of family, poverty of education, and the fourth is poverty of imaging. How blacks are pictured, athletes and actors, performers, millionaire actors, millionaire athletes, basketball, football, baseball, and in other occupations. It is difficult for them to find opportunity to show kids, here is what you can do, because otherwise television, the media, gangs pulling at the kids, the media portraying black young men as hip-hoppers, dropouts, the pants sagging down, showing the shorts, defining being cool, babies being born out of wedlock. All of this is in their minds, and as you think, so are you. I couldn't expect that generation to be like my generation, for we couldn't even think of the things that happened. It's a new generation, but still, to offset all that negative media, we need the truth of the positive media. Black history needs to be taught in the schools as it was up to 25, 50 years ago. They need to understand their own greatness instead of just seeing that negative. So those 4 types of poverty are the challenge that the black church faces. And if the black church does not meet that challenge, then the community keeps going down, down, down. Any thoughts, any questions right now you all might have? La, la,